And we're rolling. Enter Terry. Ta-da. Do we have your good side?
We have hot... Yeah, you got my good side.
It's all the good
I
side.
haven't showered for 3 weeks. But you got my good side.
Well, good thing I got extra onions on my hot dog.
Oh yeah, I got some on that too. All right, let's come. So here we are. We are in. This is. We always wanted to do burgers about Bonham, but this is hot dogs about hot dog led by Led Zeppelin with John Bonham on the drums. We gotta tie it in somehow. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chat about.
Hey, folks.
We're gonna interview George.
I'm gonna interview you.
Well, if you wanna. All right. So we're gonna eat dogs while we talk. So get ready.
So, yeah, this is classic Chicago hot dogs here, which by now I think everyone knows about Chicago hot dogs, right?
The Bears.
Like there's just, the Bears.
The bolt.
You know.
No, true.
But for those who aren't familiar, it's a Vienna all-beef wiener.
Which is like the steak of hot dogs.
Yes, locally produced here in Chicago, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we're not in Chicago. Where are we? What's the name of this place you live in? Riverside?
North Riverside.
North Riverside. It's a village in a forest, according to the sign.
Sure
down
is.
the
That's
street.
damn hot pepper. All right, boom.
So, yeah, Chicago hot dog, poppy seed bun, steamed all beef wiener, nestled in with, what do you got on yours? I got onion, mustard, and relish.
I got everything. Right, so it's yours if you added tomatoes and peppers. That's what I have.
Oh, garden on a bun.
Run it true to garden. All right, so we're just going to talk about Zeppelin and interview. This is hopefully will be interesting. At the very least, it's.
I kind of want to talk about hot dogs a little bit, though.
All right, bring it
These
in.
are from Portillo's. This place does them right.
Oh, they should be a national chain. They have like 900 locations in the Chicago area and like 3 in the rest of the country.
They might get ruined though if they go national, don't you think? A lot of stuff like that goes national. Like Uno's Pizza sucks. Have you ever had it outside of Chicago?
Yeah, but I'm just saying they can ship that shite. If it works in California at that distance, it'll work in Poughkeepsie. Well, not Poughkeepsie, but Cleveland.
Maybe, but they say that hard water is essential to making these hot dogs have that essential
cooking
pop.
them or
yeah, you gotta have
them?
hard water.
While cooking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe they can find some kind of an osmosis hot dog system that they can hook up at the restaurant. But seriously, man, this is a cash-generating machine. Dick Portillo sold it for $1 billion.
A little shack.
Did you know that
empire?
$1 billion is 1,000,000? Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is.
1,000 million. Yeah.
That's right. Imagine having $1,000, and then somebody says, "Oh, you got 1,000,000 of those." Is that right? Isn't that right? It's a million. No, 1,000. Wait, isn't that right? Yeah, 1,000 million is $1 billion.
You're good with math.
You know Avogadro's number? Thank you, Mr. Avogadro. All right, so, well, can I say something?
Yeah.
Because you know what happens is I'm a talker. I think a little bit possibly.
You certainly are.
Yeah, but you know, here's the thing. My wife and brother always tell me how loud I talk. You know why? Because I really do, man.
I thought it was so you can be heard on the drum video. While you're going deaf.
Yeah, well,
from banging on a Vista like
do you remember with The Who, with Pete Townsend, there's a little clip in When the Kids Are Alright, or The Kids Are Alright, where he pulls Keith Moon aside, who's in like a white beater, and they're just playing, they're doing Barbara Ann and stuff.
Yeah, right.
And he goes, "I saw my doctor yesterday," and Keith Moon goes, "What did he say? That you have terrible, terrible ears?" And Keith Moon starts saying stuff and laughing, and Pete Townsend goes, "Well, he actually said," he starts imitating him, and Moon starts cracking up. And he goes, he goes, "Yeah, well, actually," he goes, "What do you want me to do? Quit playing? Become a pauper? You know, go on the dole?" And he goes, "Well, no, actually, I would advise you to learn to lip read." And then there's a pause. Keith Moon busts up, and Pete Townsend goes, "I'm serious. It's what he said." No, but so, all right, so.
And sadly, that happened to him, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Do you wear earplugs?
You know what I normally do? I wear the headphones downstairs.
Oh yeah.
Because
I don't like the feeling of having in-ear. I can't do it. I tried those custom-made jobs.
Yeah.
and I ended up losing them on an airplane, and I was kind of glad that I did.
Did you pay for those, or did somebody else?
Yeah, no, they weren't cheap.
Are they cents a pound?
They were a few $100. Yeah.
Did the Sensophonics do it at Lincoln or Clyburn or whatever?
No, it was through Northwestern Department of Audiology. Anyway, yeah, I found it really hard to like really feel what I was playing. I'd rather lose. I know this is. I probably shouldn't, advocate this, but over the course of my lifetime, I'd rather lose a little hearing and feel the music the right way, hear it well,
right,
until I can't hear it well.
Well, you know what? That's right. You know what the thing is?
I don't know. Maybe that's not.
Typically, when I play gigs, I have to do it that way. Like it's a bummer. Like when I do the Kashmir gigs, the Led Zeppelin tribute band.
You take them out, the earplugs.
Well, the thing is that there's a couple songs they do to a sequencer, but it's not like a I guess it's played by hand. I think he played to the actual recording, the record, so it moves a little, And but you know what it is? I used to wear those big ass Keith Mooney headphones at these gigs for Kashmir and for ba-da-da, ba-da-da. What is that?
10 Years Gone.
10 Years Gone. And I felt if it was stupid looking and I could barely hear it, and the Frank's 100-watt Marshall's right there.
Yeah.
And it's
that's a different story.
Well, it is, and then there's also monitor blaring on you because that's so when I do play a gig, like a gig that I need to play for, I use a monitor. I always do, and I always want it a certain way. Like I really don't need any drums in my monitor. Some people like the thump. Well, sometimes it might not be bad. Sometimes I have a little bass drum, but I don't want the snare. I want to hear the bass.
Yeah.
But so you're a great drummer. Even if you can't hear that well, in your mind you're going to be playing along to the melody in your head that everybody else is going to play right to you. So
well, normally I'm playing jazz gigs, and the volume level isn't anywhere near where it would be on a rock gig. So when I have a monitor, I'm usually, I need a little horns in there. I need some piano, stuff like that. I can hear myself fine. But if I play a rock gig, I want to be able to hear the bass drum and the snare clearly.
And the singer.
Yeah, that's
but sometimes even if it's Zeppelin.
Depends on who the singer is.
Sometimes in the Zeppelin.
Turn them all the way off.
You know what's scary about like Frank in Kashmir asked me to do a couple more gigs coming up, and I might. But the thing is, I got to tell you, I don't know if I can play rock and roll first. But the fact of the matter is, to start off playing rock and roll for me...
I heard you say this in a video or something. Yeah, right. I saw that.
I don't really play it right. You know what? There's a certain like boogie woogie...
What do you mean?
Well, the actual physical...
Uh-oh. Save that for later, Terry.
Right. The actual... I'm going to get one of those. The physical... action... doing it, a lot of people do kind of like a molar-y, maybe sort of slight whip, And Bonham used to do that little finger thing, which I absolutely, with my left hand, can't do. But it's just after about halfway through, or 3/4 of the way through rock and roll, live, for me, thank God all those people are there watching, because if I was by myself, I would stop. Like, there's actually sometimes been about 10 or 15 seconds.
Well, how often are you playing it, though?
Well, that's the thing, I should practice.
If you play it, if you had to play it on a gig, like every week, at least even once a week.
Yeah. Well, you develop to get more efficient with the...
Yeah.
But it's so draining, and it's at the head of the set. Right. Then we do Celebration Day, which is a reprieve, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because when I'm playing Celebration Day, I'm holding the sticks like this. My hands are so drained and tired. So I got just Celebration Day. We go into Lemon Song, which is that long beginning, and it's sort of relaxed, thank God. And then by the end, da-da-da-da, you kind of feel yourself sort of like lubricated. But anyway, so let's do this. You know what's cool? We have a reference clock to see how much time.
Oh yeah, the red clock on the wall.
My wife is allergic to onions.
So here's the thing. I have been curious actually, because even though we know each other a long time,
I have the snare stand on there, dude. Look at the last video I did where you see my foot. That's the snare stand.
He bought an old Sonar, one of those little ball feet, kind of adjustable 20 feet job snare stands.
George, and
from me a long time
it's actually called Sonar.
Sonar.
No, Sonar. You know why? Because I got yelled at by somebody.
Well, because there's an O.
Somebody left a
comment.
comment.
I'm from Chicago. That's
I do say Sonar,
Sonar.
but I got yelled at. Somebody yelled at me. Like,
was he German?
I don't know, but he was a know-it-all. There's only one room for a know-it-all on Bonzolium.
That's right.
Gosh
damn
damn
it. It's the boss.
No, so I still have the snare stand. I bought it from George. He lived on the north side of Chicago.
When was that?
maybe 95, maybe.
Yeah.
There's stuff on my face.
Shit, man, that's over 20 years ago. How is that possible?
It really is. So I went up there, and I remember thinking, like, wow, this guy's got his shite together. But at the time, I didn't know you were a Zeppelin guy. You kind of had the jazz vibe about you.
Oh,
you were kind of, hey, man.
Referring to people as cats.
No, you were like, thanks for coming up to my pad. Listen, I got a split.
I told her, I said, Terry's, this really nice cat came over and bought my snare stand.
Oh, that's how it was.
Yeah.
And it was
he's
real.
He's real hip.
Was it like $35? It was a great price.
I think you're right.
Like I remember buying it and thinking to myself, like,
should have hung on to it.
Well, I remember like really thinking,
I
like
think he took advantage of me.
Well, that was something where like you figure, $35. The value of $35 in 1995 might be what, $39.50 today.
I don't know. You're the stock investment guy.
I'm not gonna. I meant to say present value yesterday, not future value. No, so anyway, let's get back. So I got the stand. It's great. It's how we first met. But then again, I didn't know you were a Zeppelin freak until you saw one of my videos. You were like, "Oh my God,
really?"
I think so. Do we know we were fellow Zeppelin? Do you agree? Let's do the handshake.
I knew you were. You know why? Because you said you played in a band called Presence, I think.
Only 2 gigs with the late Lou Caruso, who was a
fantastic. But would it have been that time?
I
thought I remember you saying that, and then it was like, oh yeah, I'm into Zeppelin too. But I think it was just sort of like in passing.
Yeah, that's true.
He kind of hi-hatted me. He was like, oh, you're into Zeppelin, okay.
That's probably
cool,
true
man.
because you know how
you're
it is.
a jazz cat. So
I used to call kids growing up Publics if they didn't go to Catholic school. I'd be like, oh, they're public. So I was probably like, here's some jazz guy having the audacity.
Hey, I was a public.
Sorry, I'm a rat.
Did you grow up in the city?
I went to Catholic high schools until I went to.
Oh, wow! You got all kinds of poppy seeds, onions,
all kinds of stuff. Let's move forward. All right. So what are we going to talk about?
So we're going to talk about.
This is what
I really wanted to know. Truthfully, is I've seen many of your videos. I'm a big fan.
Thank you, sir.
And now that we've collaborated, I still don't know how you got into Zeppelin.
You know what the funny thing is? I said,
what's your early recollections?
All right, well,
what hooked you?
Well, first off, I'm going to say this. When you said in the video where I read your interview, like when you sent it to me before you're going to send it off to McHugh or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And you said you really got into Zeppelin with the live no quarter from 73. The fact of the matter is, and this is on tape, I'm not saying this isn't like brown nosy sort of like,
you're talking about the tight but loose interview.
Yeah.
The thing, which I didn't even really know was going to,
we were in that magazine.
Published. The Dave Lewis. Dave Lewis put a 2-part, and the second part is up now.
I have a pepper in my sphincter.
Oh, well, let it out.
But so what happened is that's how I got into Zeppelin, because my brother had a few Zeppelin albums. He had House of the Holy, Zeppelin 2, Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 3, actually. Zeppelin, he had all the Zeppelin
early
records.
ones.
Yeah, but he didn't have Into the Outdoor. I ended up buying that myself. And then, of course, when a guy's like, oh, dude, that's great, Terry, and he took it away from me.
Yeah.
He wet his finger, and he started getting all the colors out.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, and he's like...
right. Now you need to get 6 more.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, but what happened was I really liked Stairway to Heaven, so I was asking around with this, it was in 1978 or 9, Stairway to Heaven only been around 8 years. But it was still an anthem of sorts.
Right. Imagine that.
So I saw the record, and I'm like, oh, Stairway to Heaven. I assumed, it had black with the marquee and stuff, and I assumed that was the recording. So I put it on. I remember listening to it, being a little disappointed. I mean, at that age, I was looking for the
live version from Song of Ages.
Yeah, which of course now I totally appreciate.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was
theater.
like, I was like, right. I was like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? I'm like, and how come? Jimmy Page is supposed to come in with the guitar solo right away.
Right, it's supposed to be exact.
Yeah, what the hell?
Right.
Yeah. And but what happened was, accidentally I was doing something that slipped into no quarter. Remember, it used to go Stairway to Heaven, no quarter, or did it go no quarter, Stairway to Heaven?
I thought it was no
quarter, Stairway to Heaven. I don't know. So maybe I heard the end in no quarters, and somehow I made myself to no quarter, which was before. And I remember thinking a couple things about the song. It was so cool in a certain way. Everything about it, though, not even necessarily the drumming or the drum sound. Like what Jimmy, like that edited version of the vinyl from the Song of Man's Same album is a masterpiece. It's like a saxophone solo by a great jazz artist.
I think a lot of people feel that way. That guitar solo in particular is maybe one of his greatest recorded guitar solos.
Absolutely. To me. Well, because it's
everything about it, the ideas, the phrasing, the feeling.
The phrasing,
everything.
The feeling, the dynamics,
and that's an unedited solo. That's one of the very few tracks that isn't highly edited.
Yeah, there's just a
So-
couple small ones in it, right?
Yeah.
A couple.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's the least edited, I think, out of all the stuff in the soundtrack.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
Rain Song is the least.
Oh,
Rain
Rain
Song
Song
is
is-
almost entirely unedited.
You know, the only thing that kills me about Rain Song from the song Remains the Same
What's that?
is the frickin' timpani at the end.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
to me is like it's like if you were gonna get a painting from an artist that's worth $1 million and it came in the lower right hand corner there was a mouse leg. You'd be like, oh my god, like what? I mean, you know what I mean? I hate still to this day.
Yeah.
It's just so because the
It's a little rattling.
well
isn't
the studio
it?
recording.
He always did it though.
Well the studio maybe they should have just mixed it lower or something. You know?
Yeah,
It's
he
just on your
tended to
face.
do that a lot
But
though.
the
It's like,
studio, but the studio recording is so beautiful.
It is.
Isn't it funny how they fade the drums in? You know that
Yeah.
when they originally did it, he was
Yeah.
playing earlier.
Yeah.
But they at one point for the mix brought him in because
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah,
you know he
yeah,
was playing,
yeah.
but they just kept him out until
Yeah.
that point. Anyway,
so that's
So-
what got you into it, huh?
Well, yeah, no
So then
quarter.
you started. How old were you?
I was 10, so it was
No
1979.
shit. I was
yeah.
about. It was really similar.
maybe 80.
Okay.
But see, you were, but
I'm a
that
little
would
older
have been,
than
yeah.
you,
But was
huh?
the song Remains the Same out
Yeah.
when you were 10?
You know what? I think it came out in '76, and I turned 10 in '76
I don't know.
in October.
So we're 2 years
So
apart.
yeah.
I mean, that was a joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, my dad took me to see the song.
Did you
Amazing
know that
Thing. That's
people-
how I got into Zeppelin.
Did you know I look older than you?
No, you don't.
You look more mature,
I got
like
more
you got
height.
your shite together, but in straight age.
But
I
don't.
look like I'm 55. You look like you're maybe 40.
No, man, that's not true at all.
Well, that is.
and I'm not
actually-
just saying that because we're on camera.
Well, that is a warm fuzzy. All right, so but it's true though. Seriously, dude. So I did want to say. Oh, can we show that picture you gave me?
Which picture?
The John Paul Jones.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Dave Lewis sent me.
because I'm Shakes the Clown.
He sent me a bunch of these magazines, tight but loose,
Yes.
and in each one he offers a little. What do you call this? A print.
A print, yeah.
Photo print.
And it's numbered.
Yeah, and it's numbered like a limited.
6,956.
Yeah, well, not that impressive.
But
no, seriously, it's a limited edition kind of thing, and that's Jonesy at the Chicago Stadium, which is not far from here.
Which is gone though,
but
Rats.
it's gone. It was torn down
The old barn.
back in the '90s.
The barn.
They called it the Madhouse on Madison.
Madhouse on Madison.
That's where the Blackhawks play.
the Blackhawks.
Over there. Yeah, January 20th, 1975. It's a great picture.
You know what the thing is? That's
This is for you, Terry. I present this
Thank
to
you,
you.
sir. But see, I got to tell you, that truly is the coolest picture of Jim.
Yeah, he's not wearing
JPJ.
I like it 'cause
from
he's
the
not-
'75 tour.
Yeah, it is. It's
Because-
a great shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
Because
like that he's not wearing the onion shirt. You know?
Oh my God! Well, you know what?
The one that looks like he has Christmas ornaments hanging
You know
off
what?
of it?
Though I got to tell you, I love the
It's a hell of a...
like the Reading or like the 69, 70 John Paul Jones.
Oh,
His
yeah.
hair is long.
His
He's
hair's
even a
long.
little mud. Like he looks like.
He's kind of hippied out.
Yeah, he's hippied out.
Yeah.
And then in 1973,
Hey,
the Abomination that was filmed in Shepperton Studios, the reshoots where Bonham's put on
74?
25 pounds.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, but he's
Yeah.
still. And John Paul Jones looks like a jester, man. He's like, and too at
He
the
does.
end, at the end of
He's got
Moby Dick, he's doing.
he's got a really bad-
Days Confused.
He's almost got a He-Man hairpiece.
Yeah.
Remember He-Man, that character? He's got the bangs like this, and it comes down, yeah. And he's bouncing around with the onions hanging off of his
Yeah,
shirt.
that's what you mean. No, the little like
Yeah,
the
no, it's
puffy
like
shirt,
Christmas.
the
It looks
accoutrement.
like, they look like Christmas, 1970s Christmas ornaments, those satin ones.
Yeah, like almost like you'd almost see them on like if you're at like an Indian restaurant, like if they had like draperies they'd be hanging
Can
on.
we rag on Jonesy's jacket any more than we are?
No, we can't.
I wonder where it is. It's probably at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something.
Well, it
right?
should be, man. That stuff is historic, man.
So speaking of historic,
Did you know I have a brick?
I want to bring
of the
this
original
up.
Kinetic Playground.
I want to bring
It's
this
there
up
when
and
they tore it
maybe
down.
we'll get some
I can't
responses
afford
on
that.
this. Do you know about the Black Diamond Ludwig kit that Bonham, that supposedly Plant was giving up for an auction to raise money for the statue that's going to go in Bonham's hometown?
You know what the thing
You
is?
know about that?
I do think, and this is my honest opinion, because I
What
have
the
to
hell
be-
is the story with that kid? First of all,
Well, this is my honest opinion.
it looks small.
It's the 22, 13, 16, right?
That's what I think.
I mean, which is
That's what I
fine.
think.
Bonham, of course, could. Who says we really know what the hell he did? I mean, it's all based on photographs and recordings we've heard. But to be totally honest, there's also the possibility, yeah, Bonham owned it, and it really could have been.
Well, and there's a
the money he
claim.
had
There's a
back in
claim
65
made in
and-
that. There's a claim made in that little web page from the photographer, I think, the guy who took the pictures of plants standing behind the kit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it says that John Bonham used these drums to record the iconic When the Levee Breaks.
I think that might be
totally.
what is the term in the book? Something licensed?
It's got to be totally incorrect.
Well, like when an author uses
Artistic
license. I don't think it's necessarily meant to be deceptive. I think he doesn't realize. I mean, people don't realize there's really people out there like. I mean.
Yeah,
I guess,
look
well,
at you,
that's
the
a
last
claim,
video you did.
That is a claim, though.
That's one of the most passionate videos I've ever
seen.
seen.
Which one was
in
it?
my life is the video you just did with that very shirt on, where you break down how the bass drum. You're convinced the thermogloss is a 16.
I don't know why.
So,
we've seen that picture 1,000 times.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
always
see-
thought it was a 16.
Well, no. Here's the thing. See, a lot of people are chiming in. This is bugging me about the video, and They don't mean to be. No. They don't. They don't.
Stirred up some shit.
They know not how they sin. In the sense of this, of course, we always heard they were at first 22 by 14 because there's a place. If you look on some of the things on sites, it was the same. A lot of people would say. If anything, they'd misidentify. They'd always say it was a 12 by 15 for a long time.
Right.
Remember that? Up until
And you
it was
insist it's not because the
it was
snare
12 by 14.
stand.
Yeah, the snare
won't-
basket.
Okay.
Those snare stands would hold a 15.
He's got me beat on
But
these.
it would be almost a T. With the 14, you get a little more of the.
Sorry, I have to check my messages.
Oh, there you go.
I'm
But
not
that's
being
the thing.
so rude.
So I think.
I made a note here, and I wanted to ask you, and I don't want to forget.
Well,
So keep going.
I think what the thing is that Bonham could have gotten two different kits because Carmine Apiece. There's pictures from that time. I know where he's behind a big Ludwig thermoglass.
What's
kit.
this?
He
You
has
just
like
went
his,
like this.
Well, he has like his.
What does he have? Eczema?
Well, it's like a facial hair. He has like he looks like
Bad acne.
Neil Schon, 1978.
Oh, he's got a
frickin'
big
Jerry.
beard, like that bass player
Yeah, like-
from Grand Funk.
Exactly, or from Spinal Tap. So, but you see, I mean, you can tell from the pictures they're 26 by 16. There's no
I
mistake.
think so.
And
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you can clearly see it's a 12 by 15. But I've also
Carmine's
seen.
are
But there's another picture I found online where Carmine's playing. It's from the side. It's a different kit. You can clearly see they're 14 depth. And I think he had a couple different kits. So
Yeah.
he might really not remember which kit he had at the
Yeah,
time.
they might have, and since he hooked up Bonham on that tour, they might have just said, get him a 2614, get a 2616.
Let me put it this way. If I said, let's say I had a cool Ludwig kit in the basement, and I had an endorsement set, and you said, Tara, get me the same one of yours. And then you might say, oh, listen, do me a favor, I don't like 13s, would you get me 14? The story would go later, he said he wanted the exact same kit, we got it for him.
Right.
That's a detail we wouldn't give a shit about.
No, we wouldn't.
Do you know what I mean? So,
unless you're there.
but anyway, so my point is, I don't mean to shite on these people saying, don't you know, because it finally said it was almost well, my point is there's some pictures, seriously, that clearly show from the side he's playing a 14. He
Right.
had a
Absolutely.
26 by 14.
Yeah.
Because in that Led Zeppelin book with Neil Preston, that real big hardcover one, there's a great shot, and there were clearly from the side, it looks just like the ambers and the green sparkle. I mean, almost, remember, 26 will make a 14 look almost
Well, let me
extra
just
thin
let
in
me
a
just
certain
let me
way.
just say one thing. Now, I'm not sure if all photographs of that bass drum clearly show two sets of spurs, but for sure,
That
when it
is
looks like a 16, there's two sets of spurs.
You know what, exactly.
There's always two sets.
That's true.
Every picture I've seen that looks like a 16, and even Royal Albert Hall, I think, is a 16. Don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Did you just foul up the print?
I might have
that
the water
lovingly
drop
gave
with it.
you?
I'm sure I was like,
It's already ruined. Oh.
no, that's a hell
No,
of
you know
a-
what I'm saying?
Listen.
Now, so I want to see. I got to go back and look at pictures of the 20.
Come here, Max.
What we are sure is a 14. Does that have two sets of spurs? Because there's really no reason to have two sets of spurs on a 14.
But yeah,
right?
but you know what the thing is, right? But you know what the thing is, I think it was standard practice because I've seen other like drums. I think it might have been something where you just put two sets of spurs on a 26 because it's so big. They might just think that it's unstable. It might tip over this way
Right.
from an old point of view. And I can really think about the pedal because it's common. I've seen a lot of other kits, even 24s that had the telescoping spur. I think it was just popular at that time. If they used telescoping spurs, it was always a pair on each side.
Okay.
And then when they finally decide,
Went
I
to
think
those,
I think they might have thought that the curvy thing on the original, they might have changed the design a little because originally the curvy things might have almost pointed in on a 26 briefly, and they might have changed just the curve of it so then they could put them on a 26 or 28.
Yeah.
But I do think that picture really showing that you can really see where the 2.5 inch bracket
Yeah.
There's clearly room for
and there's
another
over
one.
5 inches between the lug spacing, so
Yeah, a 14-inch bass drum should only have that much space between the ends of the lugs, and that's just true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I do, again, I've seen, in those pictures, I'm sure some of them are 16, and I'm also sure other ones that there's a 4. So I think he had both, whether there was 2 14 by 26s and 2 16 by 26s, or 1 and 1. Kind of like...
breathe in the bag.
Kind of like
in the bag.
Ginger Baker, but instead of diameter, depth.
Right, there. Now, do you have any oxygen here?
Well, will this thing just keep
Do it
going?
then.
How long
I
will it
think
go?
so. I don't know, yeah.
Does it go more than 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're good.
What the hell are you talking so fast for?
I don't know. Yeah.
No, but that's my... And listen, thanks for the comment about my spirited plan.
So, well, okay, so we're trying
I do
to...
appreciate it.
So we're trying to get more subscribers. That's one thing. That
we need a subscribe-a-thon.
We want, yeah.
Yeah. We need like
Do we need a gimmick?
we need a car wash. With
Oh,
the cheerleaders at the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody, subscribe to... No, you know what I mean?
Well, we got the, you know...
No, but the thing really is, here's a fact, and this is not a bold statement. The fact of the matter is, at least currently on YouTube, which is essentially the medium of that most people use to watch stuff, you currently hold the title in...
Oh,
No, but here, it's not a title you've seeked or have asked to be put upon you. But from my experience, I've seen a lot of people play Zeppelin, and people know what I'm talking about. You currently do it because it was such a part of you growing up.
Yeah.
And you never didn't learn.
It was.
Like, hey, you're even uncomfortable when you do the videos. You almost feel a little uncomfortable. You do it so well, dude.
Well, here's...
And like I said in those videos, I'm going to talk over you. And here's the thing, real fast, is George sits there and he did that film of Achilles' Last
Everyone's
Stand.
used to this by now.
He did the film from Achilles' Last Stand. When first he's on there, he looks like a professor, almost like a dentist, like on a Saturday making a video, like you're like
Jesus Christ!
but you're like you don't
change my
no, but what I'm saying is you don't look like an ultra rocker. You're like a professor, like truly that you are. You're a pedagogue. You're a teacher who's about to demonstrate, and you talk about this fill, and you're real sort of laid back, and suddenly you play the fill, which has the same impact in the video as the original fill in the studio version had on the audience then. So the people who enjoyed Achilles' Last Stand that suddenly had the first time, you're like, oh my God, had the same effect when they watched your video, you showing that fill, because it was like, people in the room, they go like this. There were a lot of these. Damn! There were.
I don't know.
I'm serious.
So,
It's
how
true.
do I follow that? What's interesting about this whole thing is I really haven't played a lot of this stuff in a long time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
remember early on when we did Moby Dick? You were like, do some Moby Dick, and then I ended up playing, and you ended up posting a video of that. That was like that was the first.
I posted like the first time. Really, you've done it, what, 20 years?
Yeah, I mean,
Or 30 probably.
I never played it in front of a camera. First of all, I used to play it in high school. I used to play it with a band that I had in high school.
Right.
And then pretty much straight out of high school, I was on the jazz path.
Right.
So the only time I would play Zeppelin really was at home. I would play along with records once in a while, and once in a great while, I would get together with some guys and maybe like sit in with a band.
They're starting to hate,
like my friends. A friend of mine got married, and the band he had a really good band, and they wanted me to sit in. I played Dancing Days and rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
And the girl who was singing rock and roll was a backup singer for Stevie Wonder at the time, and she was killing. And she actually sounded great.
What the hell was that?
No, I think it's a fan kicking on in your Victorian
Hopefully
home.
it's not the
Here.
pro.
I just heard a whir, 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 whir. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to this,
Yes.
I rarely get to play Zeppelin. I rarely play rock and roll music. The only time that I really did recently is getting back together with my.
Well, with the guys who did the video at Lane Tuck.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. So you played.
So I got back together with my old high school rock band mates, and we decided we would do a fundraiser for the high school music program, Lane Tech College Prep, as it's now called. It used to be called Lane Technical High School.
That's true.
And
Addison and right across from
Addison and
Riverview
Western
used to be across the street.
It was right.
The old amusement park.
Right.
Did you know this is the first time ever in history Moxie?
Johnny Weissmuller went to Lane Tech, among other.
So is Joe Schlabutnik.
Yeah, him too. There were a lot of Schlavatniks
Kuka
there.
Schernishev.
Yeah.
No, but here's the deal. So, but I will say, thank God, that we got footage.
You know,
playing.
she smells better than you.
I know, dude. I'm
That's
sorry.
incredible. No.
So but the fact of the matter, seriously, is thank God, because the thing I'm proud about that video personally, where you're playing at Lane Tech Moby Dick, which is probably the second time in 30 years you've ever played the song fully in front of anybody. You didn't rehearse it with the guys, right?
No, we rehearsed. No, we didn't rehearse it. We just rehearsed the
Intro, outro, or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no way to really rehearse the full studio.
No,
but you were
no.
sort of forced to after a 30-year hiatus downstairs because I asked you to do it in front of the camera.
Yeah, that was you.
So, but
yeah.
the thing is, see how good you did it then, and then see what was there a week or two where then you did it at Lane Tech, where it was already you went from like all right. So let's say people who are big, strong. If you never really benched for a long time, you might even be able to get just like 50 pounds. But within like a month or two, if you do it regularly, you'd be up at 135 in no time. Like you shot up to that level. Well, in a week.
You, Moxie, jeez.
Yeah, she's a lick machine.
Yeah, you are.
She'll lick it. There she goes.
I
She
gotta watch
likes
it because I'm allergic.
Oh, shit.
Even though I love,
Oh, my
I mean,
God.
I love dogs, but
Well,
I'm
what'd you
allergic.
put her on the table for? Moxie, now let's see, like in 10, kick the dog. When Mrs. Harris farts, we kick the dog. Moxie, chew. No, so
Hey, how's the battery looking on that thing?
I don't see any red.
Okay, good.
That's cool. Yeah, so here we go. Sorry. I'm washing my hands because I do have to get Moxie debris off. And also, let me just get this quick. You continue to talk, say anything.
Yeah. No, so,
Lift up your ear. I don't want you to get all funky, dude. I feel
yeah, so anyway,
I mean,
it's cool because through the channel now, I'm listening a lot more to, the live shows. I've always listened,
Yeah.
loved listening to live shows.
Yeah.
So even, the difference is, I learned the Zeppelin studio albums like note for note back in the day.
Back in the day.
And then over the course of 20 years or something, like even though I listened to them on a regular basis, it wasn't like I was so fixated on knowing where every snare hit and cymbal crash and you know what I mean? Like all those little fine details that I used to know, some of that stuff kind of fades over time if you're not actually playing it.
Right. Well,
so when we started to get back into this, it was like, and people have requests and stuff, I was like, oh shit.
Well, you feel like you got to do your homework a little bit.
You got to do a little homework, and then the other thing is, I know the studio catalog, and the song remains the same, kind of like the back of my hand.
Yeah, it's just that it's real dusty in the part of your brain somewhere. You're like,
yeah, a little bit, but I mean, for the most part, I'm cool on all that.
Well, clearly you demonstrated.
But in the 2000s, you had, How the West Was Won came out,
Yeah.
Royal Albert Hall video came out, there was some Earl's Court
the
stuff.
BBC stuff, or was that late?
The BBC stuff, I kind of knew because I had the bootlegs back then. I used to listen to the bootleg a lot.
That Paris Theater stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like the main catalog, the main studio catalog, that stuff isn't like I can pick that stuff up real quickly when I listen to the tunes. But stuff like Royal Albert Hall, like stuff that's more recent, and the other thing is Bonham played a lot more busily or actively live than he did on the studio recordings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a live version is going to have a lot more fills. They're longer, I mean,
and they're classic, juicy. Like, you know what it is about the studio versus the bootlegs? It's like if you think you love Bonham and Zeppelin by listening to the studio records, like
wait till you hear how he played live,
like for real.
Yeah.
And the sound even live.
Well, and I think the thing that kept me kind of hooked on Bonham is his feel is so unlike any other rock drummer.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's one of the only rock drummers who had a funk and a soul and a jazz type of sensibility. Not just in terms of his, the beats that he played, but the sound, the way he tuned the drums. Yeah, all the dimensions.
His technique,
his phrasing,
his approach,
his technique.
Yeah,
right.
His dynamics. Yeah,
his timing, the way he'd set up a fill and leave a little space, and that's. I mean,
he had the same breadth of strong points that any great musician would have in any genre, but he happened to play rock.
And he happened to have them when he was 20, 21, 22 years old.
I was just saying to somebody, he only been playing a drum set for 6 years? Didn't he?
Maybe.
Didn't he spin up a drum set finally?
Yeah, and I don't know what he sounded like when he was 15 or 16.
I know.
But by the time he's 20, he comes up, the very first song on the very first album is an innovative beat.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever heard anything that sounds like Good Times, Bad Times before?
No.
What the hell?
Right.
And I just did a video of how many more times from Royal Albert Hall.
Which is wonderful, by the way.
Did you hear it?
I think so. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of what is and never should be that you did, which is magical.
No, I just did How Many More Times, which is much more. Again, it's live.
It's live. Oh, that's the live one.
It's
so that's
from
tough.
Royal Albert Hall. There's a lot of sections.
That's like John Bonham 420 college level.
Well, the thing
at least as far as depth of.
Well, because he's playing so many different groups, it's like a blues medley basically. There's like a funk groove in there. There's a fast shuffle, a two-handed shuffle, which is actually a challenge to play.
Well, that's almost like rock and roll kind of should be.
It is
originally played.
It is, but it's not straight eight.
Yeah, it's not. You're right. It's a shuffle. It's a gallop.
And you can see in the video when he's doing it, his arms got a nice kind of rocking motion.
Mick Lever does that very well.
It doesn't
People
look
don't really realize
when you try to do it. Oh, I'm sure he does. He's
back in the day they used to.
Those guys have those roots,
Yeah, it comes so they don't even they almost think every drummer can do it.
But
like,
that's the thing.
Like Kenny Jones.
That's the thing that I wanted to talk about Bonham a little bit, and I've mentioned this before, is his roots are not. I mean, they were kind of they were creating the music.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Bonham was kind of making a paradigm for. It's like the template for classic rock drumming.
It is.
But before him. He's influenced by soul drummers, R&B drummers, New Orleans guys, James Brown's guys, jazz drummers like Krupa even, and Louis Bellson and Buddy Rich, and so he brought that into a high volume, high energy, kind of situation. But
he could play like a boogie woogie really well. Like there's like dun like he had that.
That's what I'm talking about. So on Royal Albert Hall,
when they caricature of a boogie
when they kick into
let
that boy boogie woogie,
like pop one,
he's just like killing it, and it's hard to play that at that tempo
and consistently.
And he's rim shotting on 2 and 4 most of the time.
Yeah.
So in the midst of going da pop da pop, you got to get that rim shot on 2 and 4.
Yeah.
So when you're going
every other time, right. And he had that skill. And, what year is that from?
70.
Okay, so that's what 6 years maybe after he was playing.
He's 21 years old.
21 years old.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all of that stuff's good stuff. And I realized in the making of that the How Many More Times video, I was thinking I should just make a video where I talk about different things that he does, because like you always say this. You can get like 10 videos out of one tune sometimes because there's so much,
and they're all legitimate.
There's so much to talk about.
Not, well, especially with you, because by and large, especially, as you and I are at the very least the same equipped on the studio stuff and sort of the basic Zeppelin fan stuff. But the fact of the matter is, I have nowhere near the familiarity and experience with the live stuff that you do. And the fact of the matter is, you really do. You are to me and other people as familiar with that and do that as well. Is almost everybody else who does the studio stuff well. Like, as far as I know, I don't think there's any other professors out there that can deliver
I listen
the breadth.
To them a lot. I listen to them a lot.
Well, you can deliver like, somebody actually can say, George, what do you think of, Turkestan, 1955? You know what I mean? When they did, no, but you know what I'm saying? You'll be like, oh, well, I got to think for a minute, and you'll sit and you'll play it 90% heard.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? Because you've heard it, and you're a great musician, you know it, and you deliver a hell of a lot better.
There's people who, like if you go on Led Zeppelin forum or something, there's people on there that are definitely more knowledgeable than I am about the specifics of dates, tours.
Oh, sure.
But
well, then you'll get that in any. Yeah, in any.
I don't have
interest.
I don't have. Parts memorized from particular shows, although some I do. But when it comes to an era, let's say the Japan '71 tour,
right? Okay.
Or the Back to the Clubs tour,
okay.
1971 late winter. Late fall, winter. That tour, that's a great tour where they play Leicester and they play
I've
Manchester.
defeated the dog. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, well, right. And those are small little clubs. Like you see Zeppelin.
Well, and that's the thing is when you listen to those gigs, it's really interesting because they've got a bit of a different vibe.
Yeah.
First of all, an English audience, they listen to the music.
Yeah.
You don't hear a bunch of screaming and hollering going on.
Well, there's a higher bar too to jump over.
Yeah, I mean, like they'll finish a song and there's applause.
Yeah, right.
It's like.
The golden era, man. They're all so on their game at that time. And the sound still has that low and pack. And Plant still has his voice.
There's a show in fall of '71. I can't remember if it's Leicester. It might be in Leicester where Bonzo breaks his bass drum on Celebration Day.
Oh,
he
wouldn't it
breaks
be
the
great?
bass drum head.
No,
so they have to wait to change out the head. And you hear him.
Oh, really?
You hear him finish out the tune without bass drum.
It's like so
It's
there's
just
nothing. Really?
Yeah, and he's crashing cymbals with his snare
Like
to
just-
compensate.
yeah,
You had
something-
that.
yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
gone through this, who plays drums, where your bass drum pedal cacks out,
Well,
or you put a hole in the
Dude,
head.
my beater one time fell out. Do you remember that club in Evanston called the Shubas owned it? It was a 500-seater. Used to be a theater back in the day, and then this, and then a porn place, and they got a liquor license. People could drink in the lobby. The 500-seater.
Okay, I don't know.
Coronet Theater.
What's it called?
Coronet.
Coronet. Oh yeah, right.
So we opened up. Check this out.
Yeah.
Merle Saunders,
Uh-huh.
which is a pretty big deal, man.
Yeah.
Leon Russell.
Wow, awesome.
And then I forgot some other dudes, but it was really great. And the first song, the first time we played there, packed house. A lot of my cousins and friends are out there in the audience. They didn't even know I was playing. I think they went to see Merle Saunders. So our lead singer, gets up there. It was like out of Blues Brothers, or the scene out of Coming to America, where the guy's like "sexual chocolate," and everyone's kind of like, he goes like this. He goes, "I've been listening to Merle Sanders for years. I love Merle Sanders." All right, well, here we go. Merle Saunders. So it'd be like saying Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so about 10 seconds into the first song, my beater falls out and rolls around the front of my Tama Imperial Star drum set. I had a gold, the gold, it was a cool gold finish.
Nice. Yeah.
And I had to get on and walk around, and the place is dead quiet, man. Put it back in. That was going to be the hairiest vibe. No, so what happened? So we're back to the Bonham's bass drum head.
I don't know. We're going off on a little tangent.
On the hijack.
We're talking about listening to live stuff. Yeah. That's where it's at.
No, but you're right though. So then, when it is the heyday. We were talking about remember we were talking about the 1970.
Yeah. So like
period,
according to tour, like if somebody says, you were talking about this actually.
Dude, I can't believe I just got us back to that tangent.
You're brilliant.
Whoa.
So the thing is like, and you were just mentioning this, I think, before we got rolling.
Right.
Like how different eras Bonham's playing evolved, and there are certain fills or phrases,
motifs,
or little pet motifs that seem to develop, and then he would kind of
dominate
use them a
little
lot.
mini eras.
Right.
And he'd play.
So that's the stuff. Exactly. So that's the stuff that I feel comfortable.
Mind meld.
You are the...
No, but that's true.
You are the wizard.
We really could have, like, a Led Zeppelin 10... Like, there could be... You know what it is? This is what I'm saying. Here, this is important. Led Zeppelin will be used as the example. There's an element in music now missing in pop and stuff with the production, with computers they use.
Yeah.
People have gotten used to, for whatever reason, tempo is fixed.
Yeah.
People are now, the first thing you'll do, I'm writing this big thing, what is it? And it's not even like hip hop, or it's not even like a pop tune. They're like, well, it's going to be, 134, like your BPM. Well, no, but my point is here, a lot of people use it as an excuse, like they can't play to a metronome. There's a difference being able to play a metronome well, even if you're dead on it in some recordings, it still doesn't sound right. My point is this. One of the five senses, we'll say. You know how we have five senses or six senses?
We do?
So, well, some kind of sense.
Yes.
But you know what I'm saying, though.
Yes, I do.
So here's the deal. So it's almost like that with music. Like when people appreciate how loud a tone is, or the timbre of it, or the note it is.
Some people have perfect pitch, so it bothers them when they hear something that's slightly off pitch.
Right, but even like a distortion box takes the same note but just switches it to a different tone, which affects it in your emotional landscape. Sure. Well, one of the tools of music controls, you can intentionally control your emotion. I swear to God, this is true. Your emotional landscape.
I'm not discounting it, yeah.
Well, and it makes you feel good or bad, or gets you in a mental place. Well, the concept of using tempo as a tool to help control the emotional flow of music and the way you feel is removed. It's 134 beats per minute, man. That's just out. It's like saying to Van Gogh, all right, but you can't use red, man.
See, okay, so...
It's true, though.
So
what I'm saying is in music, Bonham, like listen to, when I say to you tomorrow, what is it whenever it should be? Yeah. Listen to how Bonham, it goes doon doon da da ba ba da da. Faster here, like if you hear that in the concept of the sound of the actual song, it sounds great because it brings it up.
Absolutely.
And then he goes back into drag. What sounds
a little bit of a push pull.
No, with push pull, but effective.
Yes.
Okay. Now Bonham does it so effectively, especially in Carouselambra. Da 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 ba da bum 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 bum. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
but,
there's
I mean, that is
so many
perfectly
examples
done.
of that.
The only
every tune.
Yes, but exactly. But see, my point is
Wanton songs,
that
it's all over the place.
Zeppelin and
It's
other
moving around.
bands and other types of music often, less so now, utilize the extra tool of tempo variability to additionally control the listener's emotion.
Yeah.
So it's a handicap if you reviews it. If you remove it, which has been done in popular music. But here's the deal: the only time I will say this, and because I love Zeppelin, the only time I didn't like the only time I ever thought that there's something I don't like in Bonham's playing, I think it might have been a take that should have been chose by accident, is "Thank You," the studio "Thank You." Here at the end, it kind of starts to rush. There's a rushingness to the nature of it later in the song that bugs the shite out of me every time I hear it. It's so uncharacteristic of Bonham.
That's interesting. I guess we all have, our little emotional.
Wait, no, not "Thank You."
Because I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Wait, no, hang on. No, not "Thank You."
What tune are you thinking?
Like these. Tangerine.
Oh.
Tangerine.
Oh, yeah.
Tangerine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tangerine. No,
Right.
Do you know how it kind of starts to pick up a little?
Yeah.
I don't let that
It
bother
doesn't
me.
bother me.
Like,
that one doesn't bother me. I don't have much. I don't take much issue or feel bothered by much of his playing.
No, but what I'm saying is, if I had to criticize,
no, I understand. But that's the thing. Is like everybody
here.
has their little emotional trigger points.
No, that's
right?
true.
And maybe
Some people
that's
are wackier than others.
Well, you know what? In 77.
Yeah, so what piece of
the way the way Bonham played in 77.
Yeah.
There are times where I feel like he is rushing certain fills or phrases, and you can hear it more so than on any previous tour.
Any previous. And it kind of started in 75.
When
I hear some Earl's Court, there's some Earl's Court. I know he said it's the best he ever played. There's rock.
Absolutely.
He doesn't seem that comfortable in some of that Earl's Court stuff. To me.
Absolutely, and I don't know. I'm not going to
Trampled
try
on
to.
it,
I'm not going to try to
like he's trying to get through it.
Exactly. I'm not going to try to analyze if he was nervous or
whatever
he was playing it. Sometimes when something is so familiar and you play it so many times, it ends up losing some of.
Well, it becomes rote.
It becomes rote, and it ends up losing.
Number 4. It get on to "Thank You."
It ends up, it ends up losing the spontaneity, the feeling of spontaneity.
Yeah.
Like when you hear Bonham go bang, 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 in 73, which was like that phrase of his in 73. Somehow by 77, no, it's all right. Somehow by 77, when he's playing those fills, they almost sound like sounds like he's not rushing through them, but
like he's looking at a chart with glasses on and kind of can't wait a little bit to get to the end of the show. A little bit, like as a character.
Maybe, maybe that's.
You know what I mean? But it doesn't help though too. At that time, that Page was playing so poorly. I gotta tell you, there's so much 1977 stuff. I gotta be honest, I can't listen to because Page is playing it so sloppy. And
there's a lot of hits and misses.
But see, the thing about Bonham was very hit or missy. When Bonham was on in 77, he was kind of the best of his game in a certain way.
Scary.
Yeah, scary.
And it's interesting because Moby Dick at that time is longer, pretty much consistently, than on.
Don't they pull it out of?
I mean, sometimes he goes on and on forever in the first section of his solo where he's playing sticks beforehand.
Yeah.
That section can end up being like twice as long as it used to be.
And he plays the same.
And then he does a
short.
And then he does a shorthand solo, and then he'll do maybe like a longish timpani solo, and then the end going out from the timpani solo, the last bit of the Bonham engine, before the big triplets and then the outro.
Big finish.
That ends up being like a few minutes long. Whereas in the past that was much longer.
Which was really
and sometimes I feel like it's not as
it was
weighted too heavily.
It was weighted too heavily to the front end, which also didn't require as much energy as the later stuff did. Like Bonham really started to run out of juice, I think. Just he was getting heavier, but also
I wonder though. Those shows are over 3 hours long, so it makes me wonder, like, if he was running,
that's why you're Joyce.
If he's running out of juice, why is he playing a fucking 30-minute drum solo? I don't think he. I mean, I think he had a pretty. I think he had a lot of stamina, man.
No. Well, Jesus.
I mean, no quarter on that tour is like 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then there's Achilles toward the end of the set.
But you know what? I guess what I'm saying is sometimes there's a you know how sometimes if you haven't played drums for a long time, you can sit and you'd be surprised sometimes how your stamina is playing a longer period of time. The next day you might be a little sore, but you're like, I'm surprised. I played some of that up-tempo stuff.
Yeah.
But if you haven't done a bottom engine thing for if you're out of weight, and you're not going to be able to, if you're kind of heavier, you're not going to be able to do the bottom engine for 5 minutes in a row.
Right.
You might not be able to do it for a minute. So that's where I'm getting
That's true.
You know what I mean? With this. So that's what stamina is.
Yeah, because it was a lot of time. He spent a lot of time doing like rolls and stuff on the snare.
And you know what's a bummer though is they had so much snare sound coming from the
I know,
and it made it the mystique.
This is like very specific stuff.
It is the mystique.
But yeah, it sounded like they got more of the bottom mic than the top mic.
Like that Seattle.
Crispy.
But what's cool is when he slips over to the floor tom and the bass drum, it still has that magic mojo.
Oh yeah.
But I miss.
Yeah, you want to have more of the top head.
Yeah, you want a little more of a ringy.
So what else are we gonna do?
No, so we could wrap this one up if you want to do something.
We probably should because it's
should.
probably going on and on.
Okay, are there any announcements?
We need
people to
subscribe. We need subscribers.
Oh, we're gonna put
do your pitch.
We put these videos on each channel. I'll put a video.
Let's do that.
We're gonna put this exact video on Bonzology and Bonzolium. Obviously, if you've seen one or the other, we're gonna because we're really trying to steer people to Bonzology. You know what? Let me put it this way: Bonzolium never existed, the channel, and you came along now and started doing what you did.
I'd have 10 viewers.
Actually, the opposite. No. My point is, and I'm just
seriously, man.
It might have taken a couple years. But see, if it didn't exist, like maybe I kind of blew the wad a little with Bonzolium. What we need to do...
I don't think so.
No, we haven't. But what I'm saying
I think you've got a lot of wad left, buddy.
No, but what I'm saying is that really how... It's hard for you to hear because he's a very modest person. But not only did you play the stuff, like you have a long... You remember so much of the stuff, or are easily able to draw it into your tray from your gigabyte storage, but you deliver it properly with all those things we talked about, with the time feel, with the approach, with the technique, with the touch, but also too, your drums and cymbals sound exact like you've hit. You're like a triple threat. Like sing and dance. Like you got the sound, you got the breadth of what the knowledge is, and you execute it well, dude.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Dude, you should arrange my death. Seriously, be like, you know what I mean? And you'll be like, you know what I mean?
If you see a little red light, like kind of pointing around.
You know what I mean?
All right, well, let's wrap this one.
We'll wrap it up. All right, so wait, you do it because I don't.
I
don't want to break it. So we'll go down to the drums a little bit. Can you dig it, Moxie? Dude, I'm sorry about the.